Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivemy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of nerdy television or film. And this week, come on and slam and welcome to the jam.
I'm in the jam.
We are in the jam.
I'm so happy to be here in the jam.
We are uncomfortably excited to be in the jam.
I'm going to slam so hard.
Diana's going to hit them high. I'm going to hit them low. We're going to talk about Space Jam this week. We are very excited.
If you've got a basketball Jones, you've come to the right place.
This is the place for you.
To be.
So we're going to be talking about Space Jam this week in anticipation of next month's release of Space Jam: A New Legacy, which you know how I feel about title movies.
I know. Will you judge
It's Space Jam 2.
It's
Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2.
It's Space Jam 2.
I have read that it is a standalone and not a sequel.
Really?
Yeah, I don't believe they acknowledge
The
that
fuck
Space
does that
Jam
mean? Come on.
That's what I read.
A standalone. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so Don Cheadle within the movie isn't copying Moron Mountain's shtick.
Okay. So the canon of this movie, like Bugs doesn't remember the incident in the sequel, won't remember the Moron Mountain incident.
I will not speak for Bugs.
All right. We'll see. That also seems like some bullshit they say about the next movie, so that when inevitably there's a Michael Jordan cameo, like in the post credits, people are like, "It is the same." I think that is just a lie that they tell so people get excited later.
Continuities collide.
Exactly. But we're going to get into in Space Jam in a few moments. We will also shortly be joined by a wonderful guest, comedian and host of the podcast Talking Raptors. Nick Reynoldson will be joining us in a few moments. But before we get into the episode, we want to thank our first sponsor of today's episode. You know them and love them. It is tpublic.com.
Come on and slam and get into tpublic.com.
Get into a shirt from tpublic.com.
Into a shirt or a tank top or a hoodie from tpublic.com.
That's right. Don't let the name fool you. It's not just t-shirts. You can get lots of different clothing. You can also get accessories, cell phone cases, laptop cases, stickers, but you can also go with the typical t-shirt or a hoodie, long sleeve, whatever you want.
I'm going tanks because it's getting hot. So I've been ordering some tanks from tpublic.com. I love the different styles. I love the different colors. I love the different designs made by an indie artist getting a fair commission for their work.
That's right. So all the artists, all of the designs you find on there are submitted by an independent artist getting commissions for their work, so you get something cool and unique.
Yeah, you get something cool and unique. This week, I'm going a little retro because Space Jam's kind of old. It's Ninja Turtles pixel art, and it is the original 4 Ninja Turtles, and it's how they appear at like the beginning of their original arcade game when you had to pick your character.
Oh, yeah.
Dope. I'm a Leo, but you guys do you.
Arcade. Oh, yeah, with that little like diagonal slash with the colors. Arcade turrets. That's some good turrets right there. That is very nice. The one that I am liking this week, I don't know, I've been on a fitness tip, so I'm just kind of feeling like fake gym logos. I like this. They have a Goro's Gym shirt, and it is Goro from Mortal Kombat, and all 4 arms are lifting. You know, the top 2 are doing like an overhead press, bottom 2 are doing a curl. Like it's really...
Do you even lift like 4 times,
Do you
bro?
even 4 times lift, bro? I don't even know. There's definitely certain workout movements he wouldn't be able to do depending on the set of arms. You know, like those bottom sets, there's no way they're doing an overhead press. Like how do you work out the top half of the bottom? Ooh, maybe you can coordinate all 4.
All 4 have to lift
He
together.
really should be doing yoga, some flexibility exercises.
Well, that's that other guy.
That's the, yeah, that's true. So Goro's Gym is the shirt that I'm really liking this week. It's a fun one. And you can check out either the designs that we just mentioned, any of the previous ones we've mentioned on the podcast, or ones we haven't mentioned and just like. You can find it at our storefront, which is over at tpublic.fromsuperheroes.com. That is teepublic.fromsuperheroes.com. And when you shop through our store link, not only do you support the independent artist who designed the shirt, you also directly support this podcast. teepublic.fromsuperheroes.com. Thank you, TeePublic, for your support.
Thank you so much, TeePublic.
And now let's get into it. Let's slam. Let's talk about the jam. Let's talk about Space Jam. All right, we are here. We are ready to talk about Space Jam. We are joined by our guest, Nick Reynoldson. Hey, Nick.
How's it going, y'all?
It is going good, man. We are excited to talk about Space Jam with you, buddy.
I'm excited to be here. Can I just say before we start, you guys are the absolute cutest nerds of all time. That's so awesome.
Not to be modest, but I knew that, but I still like to hear it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My heart feels warm just experiencing that.
And Nick, you do have this special energy about you where, like, when you see some cute shit, I've seen you, like, you get angry for some reason. You're like, fuck, that's so cute. Like there's a passion in you that I do like and appreciate.
I revolt against good things and in general, you know?
Yeah, you'd squeeze a cute cheek too hard, be like, ugh.
I do. My girlfriend will attest to that. It's sometimes a little bit too much. This guy's got fucking problems.
Nick will squish a puppy's face. He don't even care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right. So we've all watched Space Jam. Let's start with the simple question we start out every week with. Diana, let's start with you. Did you like it?
I love Space Jam so much. I endorse. It's a perfect movie. Space Jam is pure joy. I loved it as a kid. I loved it as an adult now. The comedy lands, the music's killer, the meta story of Michael Jordan is breaking your mind sometimes when you know the facts for real. It's you wouldn't believe it if it wasn't true, the Michael Jordan stuff. It's a perfect film, and I will accept no criticism, so it's going to be a weird hour.
Wow. Okay, that's an aggressive energy to start the podcast out with. What about you, Nick? Do you like it?
I absolutely love Space Jam. One of the greatest movies I ever made. Like that's a piece of my childhood. Like it's hard to even put into words. Like it's more than my childhood. It's what dreams are made of. It's what you dream of as a kid. You're like basketball and the goddamn Looney Tunes together, and it works perfectly. It's the best.
Andrew, do you like Space Jam?
I loved the shit out of this. And I am almost amazed at how much I love it because like. I don't love shit forever. Like we've had that moment on the podcast where like Diana, anything that you've liked as a kid, you see it as an adult, you're like still rocks. No matter what, you're like everything holds up.
I might like it a tiny bit less, but I'm still gonna like it. Yeah.
Well, like me, when I revisit shit that I liked as a kid, if it's trash, I will turn on it immediately. I'll be like, fuck those memories, they're gone. I hate all of it. But this like held up. This shouldn't work, but it is so much fun. It works in every way.
It's incredible, man. It's me and my girlfriend watched it last night actually, just to prepare for this. And I might have seen it maybe one other time since I've been 11 years old, maybe on TV or something, in passing or whatever. So I was like going into, I smoked a joint and I was like sitting back and adult me, you know what I mean? Like,
not 11-year-old you.
No, paying bills. Yeah, 11-year-old me smoking weed. That'd be weird. We're just paying bills. Expect like just a curmudgeon piece of garbage, right? Sitting down, like, let's see how shitty my goddamn childhood was. If this is see if this movie holds up. Better than I could ever imagine. Like even do you remember the first time you saw Bugs Bunny? Like when he goes in there and you see Bugs Bunny. For some reason, the animation looked so good.
Yeah. Well, even today, it looked crisp. Absolutely crisp.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's because that's where I remember that specifically being 11 years old. And I'm like, holy shit, they made like, in my 11-year-old brain, I'm like, they made like Bugs Bunny in real life, like 3D Bugs. Like it looks so good. And it still looked good.
I remember as a kid being in a movie theater and that moment when the spaceship, the Moron Mountain spaceship, first comes to Earth, air quotes, and when it rips through the Warner Brothers logo in the core of the Earth, as it's approaching the Warner Brothers logo, I remember even as a kid out loud just going, no, you can't. Like, just like as a kid, I was like, they can't do this. Like, it was too much for me to even handle that they were about to like literally rip through a barrier into another world.
Oh, yeah. I think my scene for that is not the animation or anything. It's when the cartoon stops that Michael's kids are watching and they go to the meeting.
Oh, my God.
And the kids are just like, where did they go? And it's really cute and it's just the right amount of kids. And you're like, whoa, they left the cartoon. And like, it just kind of like, oh, this is new Bugs Bunny. Because I have a very weird relationship with Space Jam, I think, because I did not care about basketball as a kid. Like, not at all. But I loved Bugs Bunny. So I watched Space Jam a lot for Bugs Bunny. And like, Michael Jordan is great in this, but I wasn't into basketball. But now I still love Bugs Bunny, and I'm really into basketball. So the movie got better. Now I watch basketball all the time in my free time, and I'm like, oh shit, I get these jokes now.
Yeah. You know who Charles Barkley is now.
Yeah, I know what a center is.
Yeah.
Not just Barkley.
The fact that the dog's named Charles is like there's so many little jokes in this to be like Charles Barkley, first of all, is a terrific name for a dog and is also just a great insult from Michael to what he thinks Charles looks like. That this like big slobbery like lumber of a dog.
Little violent.
Yeah.
A little bit violent.
Yeah, big out of control dog. That's Charles Barkley, guys. That's Charles Barkley. It's perfect.
I will say I didn't remember that the opening of this movie really is like a quick kind of documentary / isn't Michael Jordan great right off the top. Like such a pretty long.
Oh, just like the photos and clips that's just like a celebration of his career.
Yeah. Like we could only get Michael if we agreed to open the movie this way kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that was part of it. Like everyone had to agree that, yeah, Michael, we're gonna name the dog Charles. We promise you, Michael. It'll be all respect to you and disrespect to everybody else for sure. And Michael's like, oh man, let's go.
And for some reason, Charles also agreed to be in the movie. That's the other thing is that Michael's like, we need at least 3 digs on Barkley. And Charles Barkley was like, I'm in, Michael. Like Charles was still down for the whole thing.
Well, do we know that Charles Barkley knew about the dog joke?
Maybe not.
Did he get full script?
Yeah.
So maybe he just was in the theater and he was like, wait a minute, that joke's about me.
Okay.
My Charles Barkley impression's not good.
I do feel like they asked Charles and Charles was like, how much y'all gonna pay me? And they told him, he's like, when do I show up? What do I do? I'll be there. Good.
Now, and that brings me to, I think, my first big point about this movie and why it should not be good. In all, like, if you look at every individual component building up to this seems like it should be the making of a disaster. But because all of the human actors are athletes, typically piss poor actors. The fact that this movie has 6 athletes as, like, its only human people and all of the human shit works is astounding because they should be stiff as a board.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bill Murray and Wayne Knight, and then the rest of them, like, it's even Larry Bird is in there for that long golf scene. Like, and they're all kind of crushing it.
They all like because Charles is off doing his own thing.
It's weird that he's not with the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I guess like Charles was off doing some other shit, so they needed to film him separate. But the 4 guys. Like the 4 players who were all doing like the psychiatry and getting tests together, like Muggsy Bogues is delivering comedy well.
It's legit fun. I remember that he's legit hilarious. Like, but I love my mama. It's like so funny. You say I don't love my mama, but I love my mama. It's fucking legitimately is very funny.
Oddly enough, I think the worst actor of all of them is the guy who I have no idea who he is. The tall, lanky boy.
Bradley.
Sean Bradley.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like that's what really cannonballed his career. The fact that he couldn't act in Space Jam.
Also, not very good basketball player. Didn't help him out either.
Yeah.
But like when you're the bad actor in Space Jam, that's no good.
Yeah, no, it's he's the closest to an actual alien from out of them, just as normal, like before cartooning him up.
Yeah,
that's not a human being.
No, it's not. And I would say that like for Diana, someone who's into basketball today and wasn't then, I would say Sean Bradley was the equivalent of putting like Ball or like Taco Fall or someone just to be like, we want just a monstrous man.
I was thinking that because like you want the tallest and then the smallest with Muggsy.
Yeah,
so
it's just that's good comedy.
You
that's
get
just
some
good comedy.
differentiation in the Monstars. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And it's they spent all their money, on Michael and Charles and Patrick Ewing. So they're like, well, let's get this giant idiot.
Who can we afford for that 5th guy?
You get Sean Bradley at a discount. That's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, Muggsy Bogues, surprisingly good actor. Patrick Ewing, I think, was most surprising of all of them. Whoever was their physical coach, because that moment when all of the players get their talent sucked out. And that like zombie-like physicality, I can't believe that they got that dancer zombie-like performance out of athletes because they all did similar things but made it their own, but it was super believable. And then Ewing just holding his hands out for a pass at the free throw line and taking a ball square to the dome is one of the funniest things of physical comedy I've seen.
They also have the same like blank, like messed up gaze that going on. Like it's not just like their bodies. They really got the facial performance of being like, I feel fucked up. Yeah, they crazy good. And Michael Jordan's the best of all of them, which is wild.
I'll debate that. I actually thought Michael was absolutely terrible throughout that entire movie until the tournament started. Until we actually had to talk about basketball. That's I'm like, oh, I see Michael in there. I see Michael in there. And this is hindsight, right? Because we've all seen The Last Dance, and we've seen, I've seen some shit since I've been 11 years old, right? I've seen Michael say and do some crazy things. So going back, I'm like, nah, bro, you would have snapped a long time in this, but you would have gambled on the golf course right away. There would have been money exchanging hands, cigars being smoked, and shit being talked. I didn't see that from Michael.
Now, I think, to be fair to Michael's legacy / gambling addiction, it does reach a point in the third act of the movie when the guy who runs Monstar, the Moron Mountain, turns to him and is like, well, if I win, I get the Looney Tunes. And Michael's like, let's double down the bet. Michael's like, you'll get me, and my friends get their talent back. So Michael did gamble and increase his bet.
There was a nod to his degeneracy for sure.
Oh man, I mean, in any other movie, that is just a heroic sacrifice play, but I do get what you're saying, and it is slightly weird now that I know the truth about Michael Jordan's past, because I've also seen The Last Dance. Not that really tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, but it at least if you don't know about Michael's gambling stuff, it at least pokes you into researching a few things that maybe the documentary doesn't go into, Well, and I agree with Nick. I actually think that of all the basketball players in this, Michael might be the worst actor.
I think he's really good.
I think there are moments where he's great, but, and this is not even like, it's so hard to hold him accountable to this because all of the other basketball players who get their powers stolen, they get to do like a psychiatrist scene where it's 4 of them who are all human beings who know each other, who get to like chill out and make fun of one another. And that's probably like a fun day on set. And Michael is in a room with nothing to no one and a guy holding a tennis ball. And they're like, this technology we invented yesterday. Do you know how this works, Michael? And Michael's like, absolutely, I don't. Yeah. No one does. And he's got to like act against an imaginary Bugs Bunny. He's got a way tougher job. I think Michael doesn't do a good job of responding to all the animated world stuff. But there are moments in the real world where I'm like, Michael's funny. There's a moment on the golf course when I think like Larry Bird, I think it's Bird or it might have been Bill Murray.
No, it was Larry Bird.
It was Larry Bird has a good shot. And he's like, that's the best shot I've ever shot. And quietly in the background, Michael goes, well, you haven't been playing that long.
Yeah.
And that is just like this quick dig and there's little things like that where I'm like, oh, he knows how to do comedy. Like he knows what these jokes are.
He also has a very quick but like really nice moment with his wife when she first arrives. I know not his real wife, but the actor playing his wife. And she's like, oh, you're covered in dogs. And I was like, your dog. And it's just he does have this nice interaction with people when it's real people, but I think he does a good job. Like I like his speech in the locker room with Michael's secret stuff. I think he does a good job. I like all the stuff about his shorts. I think he's quite delightful. I actually think because he chose not to respond very big to the Toon stuff, it works. It works that he like doesn't respond at all ever to anything. It's not like some scenes he's just like lacking. He's like, right. I'm just never gonna be big. I will never be big in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. The only time he was big was that Michael's secret stuff, like the locker room talking Looney Tunes. Like, this is how I picture Michael Jordan. This seems the most real. Even though you're yelling at cartoons, this seems like authentically Michael Jordan.
And I think too why that scene works. I agree with you. It seems authentic, Michael, and just like him like turning to his team like. And all the on the court stuff when he's just like grabbing Tweety Bird. He's like, get back on defense. I'm like, Michael knew how to deliver that line because he has yelled the sentence, get back on defense before in his life. This
has happened before. He's screamed at a team before. Yeah,
for sure. So this is all very real to him. But the other reason I think like late in the animated world stuff works and some of the early stuff works is, Diana, you're right. Like, he's playing it as the straight man. He's doing very much just like as little as possible. And for a guy who's not a talented actor, that's like a smart way to direct him. But it's when Wayne Knight is around, the assistant, because you need to be the straight man, you need someone next to you who's reacting big. And when Wayne Knight is there, and Wayne's like, Michael, can I get some of the secret stuff, Michael? And he's smoking and cindering, and he's like, they blew me up, like things are crazy. And Michael has to be like, all right, let's get back out there. And then it works because you've got big and you've got little in terms of responses. But when Michael's just on his own, he is way too chill for finding out another dimension exists. Like, he looks Bugs Bunny in the eye, and he's like, are you Bugs Bunny? Like, there is nothing.
I took that as when you reach a certain level of wealth, they tell you about the other dimensions. It's like when you become president and they're like, now learn about aliens. You've made it up that high.
That's hilarious, dude. That's so
I think
funny.
he knew about Looney Tune Land. He
must have
underwhelmed by it. It's like this. What is it on 30 Rock? The celebrities, the island that only A-list celebrities know about, or whatever.
Yeah,
that
something
probably
like that.
leads to Toonland or something.
You have to be right, because he literally sent like strange cartoons to his house to get his shorts where his children live, right? So he's got to be like, okay, you guys are all good.
These movies were also inspired by him previously having done commercials with Bugs Bunny.
Yes, yeah.
So they have a working relationship.
And
They're homies, yeah.
And your theory makes sense that like high-end athletes, they tell about the secret Toonverse too. Because when Michael gets sucked down a golf hole, Bill Murray, like Wayne Knight's character, the assistant, is like, what happened? I got to dig up the earth to find him. And Bill Murray and Larry Bird are like, got sucked into Toonland. We knew
Yeah,
it. Like they're also very chill about
that was a really funny part, because like that just shows how much better Bill Murray is, like, than everyone else around it. When he's like, "Don't point the goddamn camera at me," he slaps the camera out of his hand. I'm like, "That's so funny, man."
The long pause before they slap the camera away is just perfectly comedic in every way. I absolutely adore it. And they're like, "What kind of camera is that?"
Yeah, what kind of camera is that? Don't point that at me.
And then the second line after that, when they're walking away, and Bill Murray's like, "Neither of us were in an emotional state to putt back there."
I'm gonna mark us both down as twos. Like that is, and I guarantee you that part of the reason why Bill Murray popped so much, none of the words that he said were in the script. Like, he clearly is like, and maybe there was some version of that. Like in the script, it said like, Bill Murray's character says like, I'm gonna round this off for this hole. And Bill Murray's like, okay, I'm gonna play with that, because his is written like an entirely different writer worked on only his thing.
Yeah, it's him. It really does, like, they just let you say whatever the hell you want, and you're amazing. And thank God they let you do that.
Yeah.
Also, Bill Murray knows about Toonland, to go with my theories.
Yeah,
he just pulled up.
He's just there.
Yeah.
So I think that checks out.
He said he knows the producer, and the producer is Ivan Reitman, the director of Ghostbusters. So I think that was the joke there.
That's an adult inside joke.
Yeah. Because he rolls up and he's like, I worked with the producer before, so he gave me the heads up, and I had a Teamster drop me off. So that's a reference to Ghostbusters.
I will say, I do think that is another reason this movie works so well. It is one of the only like family-friendly movies, like they say, like, the whole family can enjoy, that I do think the whole family can enjoy. Because I enjoyed this equally as a child. I'm like, Bugs Bunny's doing crazy shit. He's got the ball. Oh, my God. And then as an adult, there's adult humor in this that isn't adult. Like, it's jokes that adults get, but it's not, like, crude. It's not, like, things you don't get as a kid. It's just, like, you're like, I don't know what a producer is, but this joke is funny when you're older.
But there were sexual... I remember two. Like... I mean, obviously, when Bugs Bunny sees Lola and turns into a wooden board, right? You're like, okay, that's we know what's going on here.
Yeah,
that's not for children. But they also ask, I think it was Patrick Ewing or Larry Johnson, I don't remember. But when they asked him if he has any other performance anxiety.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that is pretty adult when you say it like that.
Yeah, and Charles, when he's praying, being like, "I'll never date Madonna again."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
maybe a few things. Yeah.
Also, what I think is crazy about this movie that makes it work when you say if you describe the premise, it's a bad movie by premise alone. I think what makes it work is The premise is so ridiculous that the greatest basketball player in the world didn't get his powers taken because he was currently playing basketball is just a ridiculous idea of where he would be and why he didn't get affected. But the fact that it really fucking happened, really adds a sense of realism to the film that I think benefits it.
It grounds the film it grounds this Bugs Bunny movie in reality.
It does a little bit.
A little bit.
I mean, it's so weird watching this after in hindsight, because I'm like, is this all a goddamn cover up? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Did they force him out because of his gambling problem? And they're like, let's smooth it over, buddy. We'll do Looney Tunes as well. We'll get the Looney Tunes involved and back to family loving. We love you, Mike. Be like Mike. You know what I mean? Like, we think you got your father killed with your gambling debts. You know what I mean? Like, It's very weird to see.
And then Michael was like, I'm going to make a fictional movie about how he just died off screen.
Yeah, exactly.
It very much feels like there was an old Simpsons joke of like a satellite from space just crashes on their lawn, and it has like the Major League Baseball logo on it, and they've been spying on all of humanity. And Mark McGuire shows up, and he's just like, do you want to hear the horrifying truth? Or see me sock a few dingers? And everyone's just like, sock. And he's just hitting home runs while he's distracting everyone from the horrifying truth. And this feels the the media is like, hey, Michael, did your gambling addiction get a family member killed? And he's like, do you want to talk about that? Or see me and Bugs dunk on some aliens? And everyone's like, you got us. We do want to see you dunk on some aliens, actually.
Yeah,
that sounds fun. Let's do that.
And the other inside adult joke, or just on the subject of that, was the Larry Johnson, a couple of Grandmama references as well. Yeah, so there was a few. So he played this character Grandmama in Converse commercials, and also an episode of Family Matters, which is the best episode of Family Matters.
It's amazing.
It is so fucking incredible. Because I think who was Eddie, the cool guy on Family Matters?
Yeah.
Like Winslow's son, yeah.
Eddie Winslow.
Eddie and Urkel were supposed to do a 2-on-2 basketball tournament, but Eddie was ashamed by Steve and was like, I'm not playing with Steve. And then Steve Urkel was like, I'm going to play with my grandma. And Eddie's like, you loser. And his grandma's the character Grandmama, which is Larry Johnson, just in a sundress. Dunking on fools. But yeah, there was a couple of when Larry loses his powers, he's like, man, my grandma plays better than me. And a few of those.
Okay, I get that. It's weird how much of this movie is based on commercials, because Bill Murray is also here because he was in an NBA commercial right before this movie as well.
Oh, with Michael, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the trivia I read was that it was pre-movie, not to pump up the movie.
Right.
But so a lot of commercial stuff happening here.
The whole thing is a commercial. I mean, they literally debuted the new the Jordans, right? The Space Jam Jordans.
I was getting the impression that was a product placement as I watched this film.
Oh yeah, and McDonald's and Coke was in there too. It was they're not playing. Michael doesn't play around with his money and his commercials. I didn't see a Hanes, but I think Hanes was after. Yeah, I was looking for Hanes.
They mention Hanes, but I don't think they show it. But they mention it because when they have that one joke where Wayne Knight comes into the room where he's like, "Eat your Wheaties, put on your Hanes, lace up your Nikes, let's go get a Coke and a McDonald's."
Yeah.
How much did that scene pay for? That
scene
paid
alone
for the movie.
has to pay for a lot of stuff for sure. And even the director of this movie. So the director of this movie is Joe Pitka. Joe Pitka, a director who has only done this movie and hundreds of commercials.
So many,
Wow.
18 Pepsi commercials.
Yeah.
The famous Pepsi commercials are all him.
And some music videos. So it's music videos and commercials is all this director has ever done before or after, which is wild. That afterwards he wasn't the sought after guy who did Space Jam. It was just a straight back to commercials and music videos.
Well, according to the trivia, there is a lot of arguments with the actors that Ivan Reitman directed most of it. And he did all the hard technical stuff.
Which would make sense.
With the Bugs Bunny, with the tech stuff. And then everything with humans was Ivan Reitman. Who obviously it is a comedy and he's a comedic director. And I think that tracks.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, not to do any other features after that is weird.
Yeah, it didn't blow up. No. And I think the last adult thing, before we take a quick break, that I will say I see now as an adult is that I think some of this, some of this is obviously, and some of it is subtly, just digs at Disney by Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like they have that one like what kind of Mickey Mouse operation? Who would name their team the Ducks? What kind of Mickey Mouse operation would do that? But even the fact that like Moron Mountain is this toon world that is built around amusement parks where they're always looking for the next hot thing. And that was Warner Brothers being like, these dicks over at Disney and their amusement park, and they've got no respect for the classics like Bugs Bunny. So I think some of it was like direct digs.
Oh, some of it is direct digs. They were a little bit mad at Disney.
Yeah, I did see that as a trivia thing.
Because they agreed to put the Bugs Bunny characters in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then they didn't agree to put the Walt Disney characters in Space Jam. And they weren't happy about it.
They had like a handshake agreement, and
you really got to get that shit.
You got to get that shit written down. Yeah.
So I get it.
All right, well, let's take a quick break here in the podcast to thank our second sponsor of today's episode. We want to thank our friends over at Care Of.
Oh my goodness, Care Of makes incredible vitamins that are formulated with good-for-you, clean ingredients that are backed by science, and they're super transparent about the research and sourcing behind each of their products, and these vitamins have made me feel so much better.
Yeah, and they really help. I really like that they come in individually wrapped packets, which are perfect for getting back into or starting a routine. So it's just nice because you're not messing around with 30 pill bottles. It's just every day I have these vitamins after I have my breakfast, and it's just this one little package, and it's got everything that I need, and it's ready to go there for me.
And it's personalized for you. This isn't just
That's right.
any random old vitamins. You're going to take Care Of's in-depth online quiz. We'll ask you questions about your diet, lifestyle, and health concerns to help address your specific wellness goals, and then they will list the vitamins that they recommend for you. You can choose or remove any of the ones you want. You can get what you get is totally up to you. I get a little packet. It's got my name on it. It's so nice to take them every day.
I got the little packet with my name on it. I also have their protein powder as well, and their mixer, which is really cute as well. I like their mixer.
You love their mixer.
The shake bottle that they have. You know the shake bottles for protein that have the little like spirally metal thing in the middle.
You ordered a second one. You like it so much.
It's super cute and fun. And I like it because like it's not in your face. Like most of those protein mixers that I've ever had in the past, and you've seen them out there in the wild, and it's always just like way too hyper masculine. Like every protein mixer that I see out there, it's something that on the side of it says like beef get large now. And I'm like, I don't know why it has to say that on the side of it. But this one is just like, it's some nice clouds. And I'm like, I'm still getting what I need. And it's just some nice clouds. It looks nice.
It feels relaxing.
It is relaxing.
It's a relaxing little shaker you have. And I support it. I will say I adore the iron pills I've been taking. I've mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. Every iron pill I've taken in my life has made me sick to my stomach. I've tried 3 to 4 different brands. I'm very iron low, so I just stopped taking them usually. I've been taking Care Of's iron pills for 3 months now, I think. I haven't gotten sick off them once. I feel amazing. My iron is finally high. Magneto could kill me at this point. He couldn't before, but now he could. But
I think he could have before.
I don't think he could have taken me.
Magneto's a crafty man.
I mean, he couldn't have done it with his power.
He would have to use outside objects. Outside objects. Yeah.
He couldn't have done it from within like an X2.
Yeah, but now you're all ironed up. The pills have been incredible. The protein's been incredible. You should check out Care Of, and for 50% off your first Care Of order, which is an incredible value. So you can get 50% off your first Care Of order. Go to takecareof.com. Takecareof.com and enter promo code TFS50. So once again, for 50% off your first Care Of order, go to takecareof.com and enter promo code TFS50. And thank you, Care Of, for your support.
Thank you so much, Care Of.
And now back into Space Jam, and I think the other big thing we need to talk about with Space Jam is what an absolute banger soundtrack this is from top to bottom.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best movie soundtracks of all time. It's I remember we had a basketball net in front of my house, and I got a boombox. And we would just crank it, man. We would plug it into the balcony and have it booming, and we would play to the Space Jam soundtrack, and everyone would have their own songs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the Space Jam soundtrack is so killer. Very classic me. My favorite is like the one that Bugs Bunny is rapping by himself.
Oh yeah,
that's Diana's fave.
I mean,
I like Hit 'Em High, but
and now as an adult, just picturing Billy West in a booth having to rap as Bugs Bunny.
He kills it too, man. He kills
Oh, he
that
kills
song.
it. It's a good song.
I wore this soundtrack out. Like I had this on cassette and played it so often in my Walkman that eventually like the tape got demagnetized and like did that thing where it just starts getting wonky. Like
How do we talk about the elephant in the room with the soundtrack? How do we navigate around this?
So-
Usually we just say, well, R. Kelly sucks, but that song's a banger.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
you
good.
can't,
As long
and
as
it's in the movie. What are you going to do?
It's such a good song.
Now, and here's what's so disappointing about that song, because obviously R. Kelly is a monster. But that song, what I was thinking about about like the upcoming new Space Jam movie is that I'm like, obviously they need to have a killer soundtrack, and they should have. And I was like, I want them to have that song. I hope what they do is they get someone else to cover that song, because my immediate instinct was, I'm like, well, R. Kelly sings it, but with most songs, someone else wrote it, someone else produced it, someone else owns it. And I was like,
Did you look it up?
I looked it up. R.
Yeah.
Kelly's got everything, and
That's a problem. He was very good at what he did, and it makes it very fucking annoying.
So his prints are everywhere.
yeah. Because I was really hoping, I'm like, if Warner Brothers owned the rights to it, for example, I'm like, have John Legend do a cover of it or something.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
get someone new to come in, and then that money doesn't touch the bad man, and we can still have this phenomenal song.
Dude,
but I'm like, no,
if
his
only.
fingerprints are everywhere.
Now,
Could have done that to everything. Ignition, you know what I mean? If only, but he wrote and sang everything.
I feel like that song is the most removable, though. Like, it is a very good song, but to me, that is not the essence of Space Jam. Like, I can't see the LeBron version being like, I believe I can fly, I'm LeBron James. Like, it doesn't feel like him.
I could see bringing Seal back for a new Fly Like an Eagle. I feel like that's an appropriate, because that's another one I think like midway in the movie, or no, that's when he starts stretching, I think maybe. But Fly Like an Eagle by Seal is also like a good track, and it still has Fly in it, and like just
I think that's a cover too.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, Seal didn't write that song. I think
Okay.
it's like a Steve Miller band or something. But that's Seal just sang that. Listen, we can
Let's get
cover that
Seal
one.
back. Let's get
We
Seal
don't
back.
need Seal back. I don't know what Seal's doing. I don't. Seal might
married-
have done some bad shit.
No, I think he's fine. He's married to Heidi Klum.
Are they
Not
divorced
anymore.
now? I think they're
Yeah.
divorced.
Oh, shit, you're more up to date on Seal and Heidi Klum
I know a
than
little
me.
bit. I know enough that he's divorced. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not together, and I don't know why. That's why I only said that. I'm like, something happened.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Seal's still doing shit. Did you see Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stoppin', the Lonely Island movie? That last one? No, it's good. It's good. I highly
is
recommend it. But Seal has a bit in that that is
Okay.
actually quite funny. So I'm
So
like,
he
he's-
wasn't canceled when Pop Star came out.
at the very
We
least, he
know
wasn't
that.
canceled like 4 years ago
good.
when Pop Star came out. Yeah,
to
so
know.
that's something.
The biggest compliment I can give this soundtrack definitely is listeners know, Andrew knows, that I never notice music in movies. It's a weird thing. I love movies. I don't notice music. I've owned 3 soundtracks in my life.
Okay.
2 Batman soundtracks
Okay.
and Space Jam. Those are the only soundtracks I've ever owned. So that's how good Space Jam is. It
And
made,
Seal was on 2 of those. Am I correct?
I guess
Yeah.
maybe I just like Seal.
Now,
Seal was on 2.
depending, because knowing Diana, the soundtracks she had were probably the two Batman movies with Chris O'Donnell. So it was 3 and 4. It was Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. You
I
had
think
the
Seal was
soundtrack of.
Forever, wasn't he? He
Yeah,
wasn't
Kiss from a
1980
Rose.
I thought that was
Forever, I'm
Batman
pretty sure.
Returns.
No,
No.
that was
He was on
Forever.
a shit movie, man. He was not in a good
No.
movie.
Oh, so he had the good song, but the shit movie. Okay, all right. Well
'Cause
then,
Prince had the good song with the good movie.
well Prince was all the first one. All
Yeah.
of Batman '89 was Prince.
I don't think Return really had a hit.
Yeah, I don't think Return. I think you're right. I don't think Return had a hit. But all right, so you did have some Seal.
I had some those movies are bad, but the soundtracks are actually pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm now putting it together that there was a good decade there where if you wanted a banger soundtrack, you hit up Seal for a minute.
Dude, he was killing it, man. I didn't even know he was British until I heard him not sing. You know what I mean? I was like, holy shit, you have an accent, dude?
It's weird that British people don't sing with an accent. It's always
Yeah.
weirded me out.
It makes no sense to me. No.
Yeah. Sting is a freak.
I also need to say that one of the reasons this movie works is the combination of soundtrack and what's the other word, like soundboard or the background sounds? Score.
Score.
This is how good I am at music, you guys. Because incredible soundtrack, but also because the Looney Tunes movie, they so absolutely crush sound effects and score for tone, like, and making the comedy pop with the music. Like, it is like Bugs Bunny, I don't think created it, but like perfected scores matching the tone of comedy. So,
I don't think I noticed the score of this movie.
oh my goodness, just like the way, like, you know, like it goes like the sounds peak up when the dog shows up, so you know that he's going to attack, and like even though you know it's going to happen, it's very funny when he jumps on everybody, and yeah, just like sound effects more than anything, and also just the score happening in the back. So Bugs Bunny, so classic.
Interesting.
Did you guys notice? Speaking of score, anytime they were at a game, like what the wife from Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Yeah,
she's good. Do you when the aliens sit beside her, when they're talking, there's no outside crowd noise.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It weirded me out, but it happened every time. It wasn't just that time. It happened anytime they were watching a game and there was a conversation in the stands. It was just them talking.
Oh, I think I did notice
crowd
that
noises
during Bill Murray and Larry Bird at the very end.
Yeah,
I did notice it got real quiet then. Well, because they're at the Bulls game, and it's like Michael Jordan's back, and then it cuts to Larry Bird and Bill Murray, and it's just like, let's have a normal conversation.
Oh yeah, they're having a quiet moment at the reintroduction of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, which would not have been a quiet moment in any way.
I also don't know how they filmed those scenes. Like, did they have full crowds?
Well, I think they just use stock NBA footage for most of the game
when
stuff.
the guys lose their powers, though, like you can still see a lot of people in the background.
That is actually a good point. I don't know what they did for when they lose their powers because, like, yeah, like I don't think we had the CGI technology to sub in a full digital crowd really well. Mm-hmm. And obviously some of it is just stock footage of NBA games. But when, like, you know, when Ewing and Barkley's bodies are freaking out and it's at Madison Square Garden and you can see fucking everybody, like, did they...
And all the other players on all the teams.
Yeah, like, did they do that during an actual Suns-Knicks game? And they're like, all right, during halftime, everyone in the crowd, ignore that Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley are just really wobbling weird. Everyone ignore this. Or don't ignore it, but this is not the real game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I just assumed it had to have been some sort of CGI to some degree, right? Like, there's no way they did that at an NBA game. I don't see David Stern allowing that shit to happen at an actual NBA game.
Maybe it was like a practice or something.
You
don't get to practice at Madison Square Garden, though.
Like a preseason exhibition match, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe they did just get that many extras. Because it is still the lower bowl. Like, they only you still see a lot, but you don't see, like, all of the stadium.
Yeah,
so
I guess I've been in scenes that big of smaller movies.
Yeah, so maybe they could, like, maybe they did just fill that out.
It's impressive.
It is very impressive.
Good on them, man. What was the director's name again? What was this?
Joe Pytka.
Way to go, Joe.
A name I had never heard before looking up this movie.
Joe, we don't know how you did it.
Or after, yeah. We never didn't catapult him to fame either, so just doing Burger King commercials. Shout out to that dude, man. Thank you for a classic from my childhood.
I would like to ask you basketball boys.
Sure.
How you feel about the actual basketball?
I mean, I feel fine about it. It's like it's as good as like a Tasmanian devil fighting an alien is going to be, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't much real basketball. It's you can't get mad at that, right?
There isn't. I'm just, because the movie is slightly grounded in the reality of Michael Jordan is real and he really played baseball and stuff. I'm just like, why is all of basketball the same except there are no fouls in Toonland?
It's the street rules, man. They're not. Moron Mountain does not.
There's a referee.
Yeah, like Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam shoot them with a gun. Like, that's attack.
Foul.
That's at least that's
minimum,
at least
yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
Like a flagrant one at minimum.
Because
minimum.
If I'm Bugs Bunny, this is how I win the game, because they only have 5 players exactly. You foul one of those guys out, no game.
Ooh.
But I think it was their rules, though, right? Was it not the Monstars' rules?
No, they just agreed to play basketball. They didn't know how to play.
Oh yeah. And even Bugs was the one who chose basketball and was like, here are the rules to basketball.
They watched the little video. I assume the video had fouls.
And you need a minimum 8 roster to play a game. Otherwise, you forfeit. Like, they legally forfeit on this one.
Yeah.
I was going to say Tunes win.
Tunes win. Simple as that.
They won anyway, but like we could take it to court later if they hadn't won.
I feel like Michael should have known better. Okay, we don't believe this, Michael. This is not real basketball.
Yeah, Michael would have like argued for some foul calls. Not a single free throw? Oh, that's why the score was so low, maybe. No free throws. The score was kind of low. Or is that what scores
I think
were
that was
in the
also
90s?
just 90s basketball. That's the other fucking nuts thing is that conceptually, this is a basketball game where like every 3 seconds a dunk is happening. Like it is the most high flying basketball game
No
imaginable.
defense.
And it cuts to like the scoreboard with 1 minute left in the fourth, and the score is 67 to 66. And I'm like, 90s basketball. What were you? I forgot how low score. Like that was
But how
dramatic.
funny is that like that's all these guys talk about, right? Like back in my day, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, this like Charles is like, oh, look at Space Jam. Look at how they fouled me. No one called anything in that whole goddamn game. That's how we used to play.
That's how we used to play. 3-pointers were a myth. We didn't think they were real. You dunked or you didn't get a point. Yeah, when it stops, because like at one point the scoreboard like does like the rolly thing where it's like it's crazy going to be crazy high, and
Right.
then it stops at 66, and I'm like,
That was
so
hilarious, yeah.
That's like
No,
a regular
because
score.
It rolls up and says, is someone going to call there? I can't remember what the exact phrasing was.
It says
like,
kind of one-sided, isn't it?
don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and then you come back in and you're like, that wasn't even that bad, dude. You're down like 20 something. We can,
The
I've seen
Raptors,
this in real games.
the
Like,
Raptors have come back from that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, I've seen blowouts bigger than that this week in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the top 8 teams have been blown out higher than the.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Tweety Bird is doing as well as like the Clippers did for a couple of those games.
Didn't the Lakers get blown up by like 25 recently?
Yeah,
like before they got
some
kicked
people,
out.
some
So-
people who weren't Tweety Bird got upset
But
recently.
LeBron's in the next one.
Yeah,
and
okay.
He didn't overcome. he didn't
It's
overcome
incredible.
the deficit.
If LeBron can't put Kyle Kuzma on his back, what hope does Tweety have? What
Unbelievable.
hope does Tweety have? You know?
I do love that he didn't try though. Have you looked up when the new Space Jam comes out?
It's in like 3 weeks,
3 weeks, something like that.
3 or
Yeah.
4 weeks. July is a very full month.
But have you also looked up when the NBA finals are?
Oh no!
It would have been the same weekend.
Same time.
Oh,
Right.
LeBron.
Same time. So LeBron's got a
You egotistical little bitch.
yeah.
You thought
Yeah,
you were
and-
gonna have a big week, huh, LeBron?
And they did ask him too. They're like, "Are you going to play for the Olympics this summer?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to play for the Toon Squad." I'm like, you're a real man. You just lost a real basketball game. What are you talking about, the Toon Squad? You maniac."
Hey, he's gotta make that money.
I respect it.
And then there was the news this week that like LeBron is changing back to number 6 for his jersey, and it's being debuted in Space Jam: A New Legacy. So they're like, return to number 6, but it's in the movie. Go check it out. Like, you can't make career decisions based on, but whatever. You do what you got to do, I guess.
Hey man, he made a full what was that on ESPN when he left Cleveland? This is what he does, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He makes theater out of it.
The
Right?
decision, the choice, was it the choice or the decision?
The decision, yeah.
The decision.
Like
yeah.
that 1 hour special he did, where
Yeah.
at the
Yeah, yeah,
very end
yeah.
he revealed the winner.
Yeah.
He told Cleveland to go fuck themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like watching The Bachelor. One of them's gonna get a rose at the end.
But hey, him and Jordan, you know, they get paid. They do what they want in Space Jam. They have a good time. Watching this movie too, the other thing it reminded me of is so the guy who plays the assistant, Wayne Knight, is that
We all know Wayne
We all
Knight.
know Wayne
Oh,
Knight.
yeah.
But every now and then Wayne Knight shows up and I'm like, oh yeah, this dude has a fucking great sneaky ass career. Like this, like you see him crop up and you're like, oh, it's the dude from Jurassic Park.
Park,
And you're like, oh, it's the dude from Space Jam. Or like, oh no, it's the dude from 5 seasons of Seinfeld. And you're like, oh no, right. He also had like 8 seasons of Third Rock from the Sun, where he was like, he's got old sitcom money and 2 of
Rich.
the biggest blockbuster movies from the 90s.
Yeah, he sneakily had like the greatest '90s career of anyone
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
Wayne
he
Knight's
might-
got a killer career.
He might have been the Get in Space Jam.
Oh shit.
Was Wayne Knight the Get?
He my girlfriend pointed this out. He's like first built. Like he's the man in that movie, right? Which is crazy. It's Jordan, then Wayne goddamn Knight. Unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's crazy that third build is Bugs Bunny and Billy West's name doesn't get shot up there in any way.
So this is the other thing that actually trips me out. Like, and I don't want to get like too boring or industry with this shit for a second, but this movie, so the opening credits, it's like Michael Jordan. All right, so it's like, okay, that's both the character name and the actor name. It's Michael Jordan. But then the opening credits then list Wayne Knight, who is the actor. That's not the character's name, that's the actor. and then it says Bugs Bunny. And like Daffy Duck, like they use the Looney Tunes as if they're the actors. And it's nuts because like the poster for this movie, the credits of this movie, and the ads for this movie say that this movie is starring Michael Jordan, Wayne Knight, and Bugs Bunny. As if Bugs Bunny is a real, normal human man.
Member of the Actors Union.
Yeah, not being played by a voice actor.
I like it though. I agree with it.
It's been.
Listen. You're a voice actor. That's what the gig is, man. You're this guy now. You're Bugs Bunny. Wait, I don't give a shit what your real name is. I already forgot what his real name was. Like,
I mean, as a kid, it's really great to not break the illusion of cartoons. Not that you ever think cartoons are real, but you never want to think about who's doing the voice. But from like a union perspective, it's crazy they were allowed to do that.
So our friend Will Perkins, who runs the website artofthetitle.com, which is all about title sequences in movies, he did up an article that was about the opening credits to Deadpool. If you remember the opening credits to Deadpool, they make a big joke out of it, where it's like starring some overpaid asshole, directed by some idiot, and they just keep making jokes and they make fun of everyone. And on his website, he interviewed the people who made the credits. And they were like, we had to consult a bunch of unions. And basically the rule is you have to either credit everyone or no one. Ooh. So they were like, the rule is we can make a joke about it, but if we make jokes out of the credits, we can never go back to being normal. So we can't be like directed by some asshole starring Ryan Reynolds. They're like, that's illegal according to union rules. So I don't know how they even fucking do this with Bugs Bunny.
Was he in the end credits? I didn't watch. I don't know if you guys checked it. Did they do Bugs Bunny?
In the end credits, they have separate credits. They have actor credits, and then they have voice credits. So Bugs Bunny's like really far down, but he is there. I wonder if Space Jam is the reason the rule exists for Deadpool.
This might have been like
They were like mad about it. They're like, hey, wait a minute, Bugs Bunny's not in the union. Or the Warner Brothers has some papers and Bugs Bunny's in the union.
Has a birthday, like Bugs Bunny has a social security number.
I mean, it seems like a weird thing they do to like protect his rights somehow.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. He's an enemy. It's like, he's a thing, man. He lives on. It doesn't matter who's voicing him. It's Bugs Bunny. Like, if he's not speaking, you still know it's Bugs Bunny, right? Yeah. That's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah, he's still that.
And Nick, I think you caught me there in a second. Correct myself from social insurance to social security number. Yeah. I was like, social insurance. I was like, no, wait, Bugs is American, and most of our listeners are. Oh. I'm gonna edit this joke to social security.
Yeah,
not the new Bugs Bunny, man. The new Bugs Bunny is he's from Scarborough, right?
Oh yeah, the voice of the new Bugs is from Scarborough.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I did not know this.
Yeah, man. Local.
Really? Uh-huh. That is cool as hell.
He took a left turn at Scarborough instead of Albuquerque now.
Love it. Yeah. Love this.
No one's going to know where Scarborough is.
No, he's not going to be on the credits, and he shouldn't. Damn it. Bugs Bunny.
He's Bugs Bunny. Another question for you basketball boys. Is Bill Murray good at basketball?
I have no idea.
Like that one pass looked really good.
I actually did notice that, where, like, granted, everything in the environment is make-believe, so they're not playing a game or anything.
Michael Jordan is there.
But Michael Jordan was next to Bill Murray, and Bill Murray still was able to dribble up the court and do a no-look behind-the-back pass right to Michael. Yeah. And I don't know how many takes that they had to redo it or whatever, but that's still a no-look behind-the-back pass to Michael while in motion.
Still takes some sort of coordinate. You know what I think it is? It's Adam Sandler is very sneakily good at basketball.
I didn't know that.
I did know that because his shorts kind of tell that story. Yeah,
he only wears basketball shorts, and you're like,
anyone can just wear basketball.
Oh, hey man, religiously though, in case a game breaks out, he's good to go.
Yeah,
like Superman with the suit underneath. Okay,
yeah, he wears Sandler wears his Crocs in sport mode.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think Bill Murray is that. I think he's like Adam Sandler's new, like, oh, this guy can play ball. You know what I mean? It must be because that was part of the storyline. You think I can make the league, Mike? You think I can make the league? Right. I think he liked basketball, and I'm sure him and Michael Jordan drank a lot and he lost a lot of money to Michael. You know what I mean? Got drunk and he's like, bet you I can hit this shot, Michael. He's like, okay.
All right.
$1,000 right now.
And Bill Murray is a tall dude for normal non-NBA player people. Like Bill Murray's like 6'3", 6'4". So he is tall enough that like if any of us were playing a pickup game, we'd be like, well, Bill Murray's our center. Like it's us and like we're picking teams and Bill Murray's there. I'm like, well, I got to get Bill because he's Boban Marjanovic for your average person. I'm like, well, of course I got to get this beefy boy. Like
that does make sense because in the scene where they're playing golf, like Wayne Knight looks so small, but you don't think Bill Murray looks small, which most people do next to Larry Bird and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So, So maybe Bill Murray could make it. Maybe this joke was based on truth and he actually considered it.
Maybe Bill Murray can ball.
Maybe
he
he's
can
a
ball.
baller. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Murray's a baller.
I agree.
I also like the NBA kind of accidentally coming up with the bubble in this movie. It's so weird watching this movie in like a post-COVID world where like all of the players are freaking out and they're like, is there some kind of unseen virus? We're not going to games. Like, oh, wow.
And it's the only sports that shut down. It's the first sport that shuts down. You're like, oh, man. Because, like, I mean, when Rudy Gobert got COVID and they shut down the NBA, there were so many gifts from this movie going around immediately. But it's just so weird to see it. Like the basketball players putting on gas masks. Just a big bubble over the court and canceling the whole season. Canceling the whole season because people are sick. I'm like, oh, they fictionally knew we would do that. Wild.
It's crazy. It was very eerie to watch.
And then Michael Jordan went to the bubble, which is in Looney Tune land.
Right, he's got a safety bubble going on.
You can't get any germs in there. Yeah, it is wild. Like, it makes you wonder, like, whatever the storyline of Space Jam 2 be, will that happen in 25 years?
I think Space Jam 2, he gets sucked into a computer.
In 25 years, I'm going to get sucked into a computer for sure.
All right, fair enough. But I don't know what the B plot of the next movie will be, that there's shit going on in the real world.
Fair enough.
So that is another reason why I think this movie, it's insane that it works. It does work. I'm saying it works and I love it, but it shouldn't. Because unlike most movies, it has an A and a B plot that are completely disconnected. Like it makes nothing's tied together. Like Michael goes to Toon World and there's a basketball game. And everything in the real world is about shutting down the NBA and like, you know, the guys who lost their power going to therapy and Charles Barkley getting rejected by like a 16-year-old girl in a street court, which is hilarious.
Ridiculous.
They were so mean to him too. It was hilarious. Like, get out of here! You get Guang, get out of here! You're like, whoa.
And I'm like, do you girls not watch the news? Because the news has been talking about how these players have like a weird illness that has made them lose their ability. So when
even just to talk to just a grown up like that, like this is crazy. This is like nuts.
To talk to just an adult like that, like you're going to be expelled somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
I know
weird.
we're not on a school court, but
right.
Somehow she's out of school. But also slightly insulting to those girls that Charles Barkley, having lost all of his NBA talent, still thought, I bet I could play girls.
Yeah, fuck Charles in that scenario.
What did you think was going to happen?
But those girls did treat him like how I'm afraid I will be treated
By
when
teens.
By teens. Or like if I'm shooting around on an outdoor court and like a couple of strangers are like, hey man, do you want to join us to play a little like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4? I'm worried that I'm going to get rejected like Charles Barkley and they're going to be like, you're nobody.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of
You
here.
don't belong here.
And unlike Charles Barkley, you won't have millions of dollars
Yeah,
at home.
I just have to go home and be sad then because I've been disrespected like this. Which is just insane to me. But yeah, it's not related to anything. Like, they don't learn anything. It is really just a series of like random sketch comedy. And it's funny sketch comedy. But that's all the real world stuff is. It's just like, let's do some sketch comedy. Ewing takes a basketball to the face, funny therapy. Barkley goes to church. They find religion. Like
the psychic who sees what actually happens.
that is funny too. Yeah.
And he was like, let's try acupuncture or something, right? And you're like, wow, this is amazing.
They do
This
comedy
movie's
again.
so funny. Yeah.
Very well. Yeah, it's weird. And Michael learned so late that they stole the NBA players' powers. Like, it's not like he's like in it for the whole time to get their powers back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit strange that there's like
I just can't get
unconnected.
over Michael just gambling his children. Like he's just like, yeah, you can have me instead. You're like, you have a full family. You have 3 children, Michael. You could have just gone home, win or lose. You know what I mean? You weren't involved in this. Like, no, you're gonna take me.
Yeah, I don't think NBA talent is worth your life.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He believes in himself and has a gambling addiction though, so he had to.
So maybe he should have lost to learn a lesson, and that's what Space Jam 2. Space Jam 2 could have been about saving Michael Jordan. I think my favorite thing about their powers being taken is that we call them powers when it is regular human ability. Like, they are talented men. They're like NBA superstars.
Skills.
But even when their skills are returned to them, they say as people, I got my powers back. Like they're fucking Captain America. Like, they call them powers.
Yeah,
that fucking kills me. Like Superman's like, oh shit, I did it.
And then all of them do a lazy dunk. That's what I love is that they're like, we got our powers back. And they line up to run drills. And all of them do a lazy dunk, which for Patrick Ewing involves bending his elbow down to angle towards the net that is unguarded or defended.
Charles barely dunked his. Charles had to go up with two hands and just put it in, right? He barely got it in. Charles, you weren't doing this when you had your powers, brother. What are you doing?
Charles was like smoking 3 cigarettes before they filmed that scene. Charles was having a rough go of it. But yeah, just 5 lazy dunks. And you're right, they do call them powers.
They do call them powers. And then I think my last thing that I love in this movie is the idea that Michael's baseball game was important in any way.
Oh my God.
And that the people would then play a baseball game after seeing a spaceship.
A cartoon spaceship.
A cartoon spaceship showed up and they're like, oh good, baseball can happen.
Yeah. Thank God you made it, Mike. And also that they waited on Michael Jordan. So, like, buddy, they would never wait on you. Like,
you're done.
We know how you played. You weren't good. We're not waiting. We're not holding up games for you in the minor leagues. The Barons got to play it, bitch. Let's go.
If you show up late, we'll get you in the second inning. I don't know if there's a rule that you need to be here on a certain time, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about baseball rules.
But a cartoon alien spaceship landed in that field.
And everyone was like, yay, Michael's here. And no one was like, aliens!
And to end the movie with, like, he comes back to basketball, which in real life was a big deal. But I feel like in a world where cartoon aliens now exist, it's not as big. Like, we as a society are more concerned with things outside of basketball. Like, it's like Michael Jordan's coming back to basketball, and everyone's like, what does life mean? Like, aliens exist, cartoon universes are real.
Yeah, there should be some scientists being like, how do we find the immortality of the tunes?
Yeah, there are tanks rolling down Main Street. Things are messed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's minimum they tell you to stay inside your house. You know what I mean? Until we figure out what the hell is going on. Or Michael's an alien. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. If Michael came off a spaceship, I would think he was an alien. I'd be like, this explains the talent.
So much. Yeah, exactly.
/ the powers.
I get you. Or does all of Earth, are they like, do they, because you know how Michael wasn't freaked out, right? He wasn't freaked out when he went there. He's just like, yeah, what up, bugs? Does the entire world in that movie have that relationship with the Looney Tunes?
Ooh.
Maybe they're just like, what's up, man?
Did only Wayne Knight not know about the Looney Tunes? Because he definitely didn't. Him digging up that golf hole is one of the other fun.
That is really funny.
Really great jokes in this movie, but he definitely didn't know.
So I think all rich people know.
I
think like
there you go.
I think that's why the world didn't freak out. Is that after the cartoon spaceship showed up, like, you know, the presidents, world leaders, and all the rich people were like, yeah, you got us. We knew about Toonland. Like, and then everyone was like, okay, I guess we're chill about this.
Oh, cool. So those are just people.
Yeah. And like rich people were just like, it's best not to think about it. Go enjoy Michael. He's back.
That would make it better.
Yeah.
That would be like a nice distraction.
All right. Well, I think I've said everything I need to say. You feeling good?
I'm feeling great because we talked about Space Jam for an hour.
You feeling good, Nick?
I feel amazing.
All right, well, let's go in for the close where we ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we've discussed everything we discussed, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? But before we do ask the final question, we want to give a thank you to our third sponsor of today's episode. It is our friends over at Every Plate.
Every Plate, you will experience full plates and fuller wallets with America's best value meal kit. Very exciting because Every Plate makes home cooking easy and affordable as a much cheaper alternative to takeout, but just as delicious and also very fun and easy to make.
Fun and easy to make. I mean, the price is just killer. Like, it is about the price of a cup of coffee. Like, it's super affordable.
The nutrition to price ratio there is incredible.
Yeah, and delicious as well. Like, nutritious, price, delicious. Everything is coming together, and the recipe comes together in about 30 minutes. So it's faster than a trip to the grocery store or starting every meal from scratch.
Yeah, and we really like making them together. It's very fun because there's easy to follow recipe cards and there's pre-portioned ingredients. So we open the box, we got everything we need, and then we're like, all right, read me the instructions. Or like one of us is on like cooking. It's all cooking.
One of us is on shop duty. One of us is the sous chef. I think that's the thing that chops.
I mean, I grate the cheese.
Yes, you are the cheese grater.
It is my job.
Yeah.
I'm very good
Some
at
of the
that.
cheese comes pre-grated, and then it's like we need to re-divvy up the work then.
And then Diana's fired, and I lose my job.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it's a fantastic service. It's affordable. It's delivered right to your doorstep. There's nothing not to like.
Every Plate offers a changing menu of 14 recipes per week, featuring a range of flavors and ingredients, so you'll never get bored. There's something to love on every menu every time.
Absolutely. So try Every Plate for just $1.99 per meal. Plus, you get an additional 20% off your next 2 boxes by going to everyplate.com and entering the promo code TFS199. So once again, Every Plate just $1.99 per meal, an additional 20% off by going to Everyplate, that's EveryPlate.com, and entering promo code TFS199. And thank you, Every Plate, for your support.
Thank you so much, Every Plate.
And as well, for all of our listeners, we'll remind you, as we do every week, if you haven't already, please take a moment to follow, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher you use, because it's super important to us and it makes a big difference.
If you think we're great, tell us we're great. It would really help us out, ego-wise and podcast-wise.
Podcast-wise, it helps us move up the charts. It then these mysterious algorithms recommend us to new listeners, and then new listeners will often check these reviews, so it makes it more likely they'll actually hit download and listen. And we want everyone to be listening to us because we think we're good. Question mark? Help? Let us know. Are we good?
I believe
Am I good?
we have been told we're the cutest nerd couple ever.
We have been told that today, even. So leave a 5-star review and then throw down the word noise, whatever you want to put down. It can be as detailed or small as you want. Really helps us out.
Helps us out so much.
And if you want to help the podcast monetarily, you can hit us up over on Patreon. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you get cool bonus content depending on your subscription level. You can chip in at whatever level you want. You can do $1 a month, 5, 10, 15. You know what numbers are. You can go in.
Good.
You can go. You're good numbers. You can go in at monthly. You can go in yearly. When you do yearly, you get a month free, and then you get cool bonuses like you get our webcomic a day early, or you get special drafts, early access, and at the $10 a month hero level, you get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month that's exclusive to our Patreon.
And you get access to all the old bonus episodes. So there's so many extra talking superheroes if you go in at the $10 level on patreon.com, and they're ad-free on a topic we've never covered on the regular podcast. So much fun.
And you get a cool nickname as well, so that's a fun thing.
I'm going to write down that you said they were cool.
I think
That's legally binding.
Some of them are cool. So go to patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. If it's in the budget. If it's not, we understand. Tweet about the show. Tell a friend. That's a free way to support us. But if you have a little money to kick in, you want bonus content, patreon.com/fromsuperheroes.
Thank you so much.
And now let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, let's start with you. What would you change about Space Jam?
My changes are very small, for this movie is basically perfect. My first change is, this is so small. Michael Jordan does not get turned into a basketball when the Monstars first appear. Because, hear me out.
Because it's gross?
No,
Okay.
because at the end of the movie, he is surprised that Wayne Knight could be flattened. But earlier, he was turned into a basketball by the Monstars, so he was fully aware he could do Toon shit this whole time. So that needs to be taken out for continuity's sake, obviously. So that's my biggest, most important change. Michael Jordan can't be a basketball. Not because it's gross, but just so that he doesn't know that he can do Toon things, is my reasoning. And then my other one might be controversial. I don't think Wayne Knight should go into Toonland. And the only reason I don't think he should go in there is because I think it's weird that 3 humans play on the Toon Squad.
Okay.
When you could just get any of the Toons in the audience.
So if there's
I think it's too many humans.
So if there's no Wayne Knight, do you still let Bill Murray in?
Yeah, because he's like a nice surprise. He only plays for literally 10 seconds.
All right.
And he's not bad at basketball.
Yeah, that is fair.
Wayne Knight has nothing to contribute in terms of basketball. So no Wayne Knight and Michael Jordan never becomes a basketball.
Okay.
When Michael, you know what? When I noticed this yesterday when I watched it, when he turns into the basketball, when he unfurls from a basketball, it looks so good.
Yeah.
That does look really good.
The way he fall, like I was like, holy shit, that is you guys did that. So, I was so impressed by it. I don't know what that's such a weird like little thing, but I was like, that he did that really good. Like whatever pose he was in, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
They unanimated him. Whatever pose he came out perfect. I'm like, well, wow.
I wish you guys could see Nick going into a ball and coming out of it.
I forgot this is a
audio
thing.
I like it, and I've seen your knees for the first time on this podcast.
Yeah. Sure. I'm wearing shorts, I swear to God.
We all are. It's summertime and it's Zoom. Who cares? Everyone's in shorts.
Exactly.
What about you, Nick? What would you change?
I would honestly change I just want to make Michael a little bit more real. I think he was too far away. Like they were trying to keep him too PG, too family friendly. We didn't need that. A little bit more darker.
A
little bit more. I took that personally, Michael.
Yeah, a little bit more shit talking. A little bit more like, just swear at your kid or something. You know what I mean? Like he was too nice to his son. I'm like, I watched your Hall of Fame speech. You said you can like. What did he say to his son? He was like, "Sorry, it sucks to be you."
Oh, I did not see this clip.
To his son, yeah, he's like, "Sorry, sucks to be you guys." You know what I mean? Big shoes to fill. So it's like knowing what I know about Michael, I'm like, you were too nice of a man, and you're not that nice of a man. You weren't that nice to your wife. You weren't that nice to your children. There's no way in hell you would be this nice to cartoons.
Oh man, you know what? I can't see a version of that working because Bugs Bunny, in some ways, is mean.
Yeah, big time.
Like if Michael Jordan,
he's a dick.
Yeah, if Michael Jordan kind of adopted the fun meanness of Bugs Bunny while he's down there,
right?
Like he starts blowing people up and putting dynamite in their pants.
Yeah, Bugs is kind of the Michael of Toon World, where Bugs is kind of the like, it sucks to be you, and I took that personally of all the Toon people. Yeah, where Bugs is like, Elmer Fudd pointed a gun at the hole in the ground that I live in, and I took that personally. So I blew his entire life apart. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that can work, Nick. I can see it.
Hey. That's my only change. Just a little bit more. Michael's too good of a character to hold him back to that. Inject more. Space Jam 2, man. It's got a good chance.
Space Jam
it's got a good
2?
chance to be good.
We'll see. I've got reservations.
Now,
I think Michael's gonna make an appearance.
I think so too.
That's not gonna make the whole movie good.
But I think LeBron's a better actor than Michael Jordan.
I think that's true. Yeah. You know what? He is. Yeah, no, you're right. He is actually. Now that I reflect on it, he is.
All right, Andrew, what would you change in Space Jam?
What I would change, I want to see the Toons learn how to play basketball.
You just want a montage.
I want.
You love
I
montages.
do. And a montage is a great place for comedy to happen. Of like them running drills. Like there's so many like opportunities for comedy in them learning basketball. And I think there's more fun visual stuff that they could do because they get hammered. And they could still get hammered if they know how to play basketball. And these guys are just like bullies and shitty and like fouling all the time. Like, but they all drink Michael's Secret stuff, and then they all kind of like lazily get a couple of baskets. But you could do like fun combo moves there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like Sylvester the cat pretends to eat Tweety and like sneaks Tweety into the paint in his mouth. And then like opens his mouth and Tweety flies out and dunks it like an alley-oop from a bird that Sylvester ate. Like do fun stuff where it's like and I feel like every sports movie, even joke sports movies, have the play. Where it's like we have the one sneak play that we've been practicing and it's dangerous. We don't know if it'll work and like it's a little unorthodox or like whatever it is. This movie needed to have the play. We send the Tasmanian Devil and he spins them all in a tizzy, and then everyone's dizzy, and the Monstars see 3 Michaels because they're so something. It needed the play.
Yeah, Michael never uses what he's learned about the Looney Tunes to help them play basketball.
Yeah, he just gets stretchy arm, which is fun, but it still needs the play. Yeah,
I think that you're absolutely goddamn right. They didn't use their strengths.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael didn't need to stretch his arm at the end if you guys just did what you were good at. You know what I mean? We'll get Taz spinning around, you didn't use any strength. You just got bullied. And the training, they wasted it on cleaning the arena up, right? That was their, we're getting into shape. But you're right, running drills. And
they did one aerobics video. Who's that guy? I don't remember his name.
You're
Richard Simmons?
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, this isn't basketball. Why would you spend your gym time doing this?
Another adult joke to put in there, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't need to see them doing grueling suicides or just some fun plays and stuff like that. And yeah, you're right. They wasted it with cleaning up the gym. But if we're referencing Michael and his team, the Monstars have obviously physically taken the talent of actual basketball players. But if Michael tried to get Bugs to be his Scotty, and the Tasmanian Devil comes in with the Rodman hair dye and is diving for out of bound balls, and Michael being here's who I need to win, here's who I need on my team, and I need you to be this. I think that could be a fun gag too of I need to get 2 of these teammates to where the Bulls were. I think there's
Tweety Bird could be Steve Kerr.
Tweety's Kerr,
yeah.
Tweety Kerr.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I like it.
I
like
it
all these ideas.
I think I thought it was a perfect movie, but this is better.
This is what the sequel should be.
Yeah.
Let's just get Michael back and pitch him this.
Yeah.
He'll do it.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we made it better. I think we had a good time talking about and watching Space Jam. That's going to be it for us this week. Next week on the podcast, we are covering G.I. Joe, The Rise of the Cobra,
I think you had one extra but it is Rise of Cobra.
Rise of Cobra. So we're talking about G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra next week because they also have another movie coming out.
July's
which is
jam-packed, guys.
July. All movies have decided that things are back, I guess, in July, which is debatable, but movies are. So movies are back in July, so we're doing a lot of build-up to new releases. G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra is next week. In the meantime, Nick, where can people find you and listen to you?
You can check out my podcast if you're a basketball fan at Talking Raptors, and I'm at Nick Reynoldson on anything you got on your phone, man. Check me out.
Nick Reynoldson has a fantastic album available as well that you can listen to that I highly recommend.
I was going to say we are both fans of Talking Raptors, Nick's podcast, which is why he's here.
Absolutely. And if you want to reach us, you can reach me on Twitter at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can reach me at Words of Diana. Check out my pinned tweet.
And you can reach both of us at From Superheroes. And we'll see y'all next week.
Jam!